Hey, what up, y'all? It's me, your boy, Lil D, coming at ya from the den with another nursing video. And check out my spooky, ooky, kooky nurse setup. It's really not that spooky, it's just a bunch of pumpkins, but it is October, and I thought it would be fun to share some scary nurse stories, so that's why I decorated the den like this. Now I have two stories in mind that I'm going to be telling you guys, but before we get into that, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe. I post nursing related videos 2 times a week here on this channel on Wednesdays and Sundays, so if you haven't done that, you can go ahead and do that now. But yeah, let's get straight into the video, and I feel like I should whisper to make it a little bit more spooky. As a nurse, there isn't much that I do not encounter, from yelling patients to cleaning up creepy messes in the bed. Cue the fog machine. Too bad I can't do like graphics where I bring some fog in here to make it all creepy. But the first story I want to talk to you about is I've been a nurse for 7 years on my unit. When I first started at my hospital, I was a nursing assistant for 3 years. So I'm going to tell you about the first time I did post-mortem care. Now, doing post-mortem care is never my favorite. It's just a very weird feeling. So my charge nurse asked me to help get this person prepared to get picked up. So she's in the room already. I go in the room, I knock on the door, I'm like, hey, I'm coming in, just because it's habit. And I remember the guy laying there. I believe his eyes were open still, which was really kind of scary. And I really didn't really want to do it. I was new in the hospital, and this was, it's creepy. But my charge nurse kind of walked me through it. And I remember she needed to step out of the room to go grab something. So I have the patient laying on his side, and I hear something at the door. So I look back, and then his arm just kind of falls and hits me, and I'm like, oh my god. Like, it's so creepy. Like, I was not expecting it, and I felt so bad because I got like so scared, and we're trying to get this guy cleaned up so he can be picked up. But it really did freak me out for just a moment, and I remember jumping. The guy was okay, but my charge nurse came in the room and she's like, what happened? I was like, you scared me at the door. And then the guy's arm just fell and like kind of hit me, which I wasn't expecting, because we're doing post-mortem care on this guy, so he shouldn't be moving. But that's really my first experience with doing that, and I will always remember that. Before I tell you my second scary experience as a nurse though, I want you to comment down below and let me know, have you experienced something scary as a nurse? I know what we do is kind of over the top already, but has something really caught you off guard, or has something just freaked you out and you kind of screamed or jumped like I did? Now, my second scary hospital story comes from when I was a nursing assistant as well. Generally because I either had the high side or the low side, which is 14 rooms or 14 rooms, but there's this one room in particular that I always heard weird things from my patients about, of stuff that happened throughout the night and how they kind of got spooked. Now, I don't know the background of what had happened in this room before I got hired onto the hospital. It's possible that at some point someone could have passed in there, because it is a hospital and people will pass. For the longest time we just play it off like hospital delirium, maybe the patient's not fully awake or fully asleep at night, so they hear these things. But I remember one patient in particular, and I started connecting all these together and talking to other staff on the unit, and they heard similar stories. But this one patient was telling me how he heard footsteps in his room and he opened his eyes. Now, I believed him because he was pretty alert and oriented, but he had heard footsteps in his room, but no one was in there. Another story about this room is that at a certain time of night, it got really cold in there. And I actually heard this from several people, which is kind of weird. And the last thing that I experienced, now, it could have just been a coincidence because the sinks are automatic, they're motion censored, but it would randomly go off in the middle of the night, and it also randomly went off a couple times when I was in there, which kind of threw me off. I'd be in the patient's bathroom getting something cleaned up, and I'd hear the sink over by the door turn on. Now, this sink could be faulty, but it also could not. Being a nurse though, I haven't heard much other stories about this room, mainly because there's 28 rooms, so the odds of me getting that room all the time are not as often as when I was a nursing assistant. but it still could be haunted to this day. And thinking back, these are really the two instances that kind of just gave me the chills when thinking about it, when trying to come up with ideas for this video. Make sure you leave a comment down below telling me if you've had any scary experiences in the hospital as a nurse or as a patient. Leave them in the comments down below. Make sure you check out one of my other nursing related videos right here. And yeah, happy Halloween. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks. Bye.